Love.
Hate.
Men.
Women.
Community.
People.
Music.
Me. I know it's gonna sound retarded at the end. Go ahead.
Church.
Ugh. Yuck. Ew. Go ahead.
Sex.
Memories.
JaVonne, you up?
All right. Lyrics.
Oh, work.
Musical.
Genius.
Billie Holiday.
My mama.
Money.
Tragedy.
Shaka Khan.
Girlfriend.
Personality.
Ugh. People don't have it.
But we try. Thank you so much.
Hello, this is Mickey Howard, and you're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez.
Hi, this is Mason. You're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez.
Perfect.
Leon. That's right, Leon, for some of your favorite movies, and I'm at brunch in the basement with Terez and JaVonne. Stay here with me. Stay here with me. Stay here with me.
Still in the basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Terez on the microphone. Music politics are just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artist or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Let's see who we got today. Come on, everybody's a friend in my head. I already know everybody. Whatever it is, it's gonna be good. One day I'll tell you about me and Shaka Khan, but you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But she doesn't know anything about it. But anyway. No, she doesn't. She wasn't even there actually. But anyway.
All our bosses though, Jay. Like she's got our ears and
I'm gonna send y'all some perfume. I'll definitely get an address. I'll send y'all out.
You can send me some cologne, because I mean, you know, yeah. Just in case I should meet Shaka Khan, I want to smell really, you know, nice.
Oh God.
Okie dokie, babe. Whatever you say.
The time, so
and we thank you for that.
Thank you. Well, thank you. This part, that little piece, I'm just gonna keep and play it all the time for myself. But no, I'm just teasing.
Hey, Rezi Pooh. What's up? Good morning. How are you?
Morning. Happy Saturday, J Ruler 64.
My Rez. Oh, baby. How you been? What's been going on with you? How's your life? How's your love? How's your sunshine?
Made it through another week. You know something? And I like the fact that we check in on a weekly basis, and some would say a daily basis. You know what I mean? To get through these times, we all have to give each other the perpetual hug, right?
Absolutely.
But I'm coming along, you know, slowly but surely, you know, like being super obedient. That's what
good.
which is super hard. But
Are you still walking like you bopping, or what? What's going on there?
no, it's kind of like a soft glide.
Okay.
But walking nonetheless.
Amen. Go right there.
Oh, amen. Go right there. Right. What up, Chulo?
Hey, Poppy Chulo.
Happy Saturday from Lisbon.
Mm.
5 hours ahead of us. So what time is it there?
5 hours ahead. So he's
4
already,
o'clock?
yeah, like it's 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
Hey,
Chulo.
Nathan. How
Hey,
you doing, honey?
Good morning, all. Good morning, all.
Yes. And Nathan, just an FYI, Jess is coming back. Hopefully we're gonna try to get it together for her to show up next week Saturday, just to come
Awesome.
back and catch us up if we can, get that taken care
Awesome.
of.
I've often thought of Jess since the show, because of what she said that could be a possibility. Because I'm leaning on my understanding. Because just I don't know, not that I don't know. Like there are no rules anymore. Like I'm I'm confused. There are no rules.
Yeah, there's
Not that we can do anything about it,
no
but
rules at all. No rules at all. And just if I'm a little off, because I just it's so funny. Well, it's not funny, but like literally 3 minutes before the show started, I remembered that we do a Black History moment on this show, and I was not prepared for that.
no worries, Jay.
But
No
no, but
worries.
I got it. And it's a good one. I got it, and it's a good one. It's a good one.
A sunset sailboat wine cruise?
What?
Okay, Chulo. I'm scared of y'all over there with your pinkies up in Lisbon.
Do your thing, Pop. Do your motherfucking thing. Life is too short not to.
Amen. Go
Enjoy
right
it.
there.
Enjoy it all. I have to figure out what it is that I enjoy so I could go do it. I don't know what
Ooh.
I enjoy anymore. So I'm going through
Ooh.
that. And I feel like, I'm pressed for time because life is short. I went
Let
to
me
a
tell you
funeral,
something. Go ahead, baby.
I was at a funeral last night, and I'm prepping for
Sorry.
another one. It's like sometimes, and I guess this is my time to just feel bombarded with the reality that nobody's here forever. So if you don't know, Rez, I love you, I respect you, and I'm so glad that you are on this journey with me. I feel so blessed to have you and Pop. I let you know every single chance I get, every opportunity I get to let you know that I appreciate every single thing that you've ever done for me, said to me, and who you are in my life. And same to you, Nathan. You I think are very underrated. I think that you may not know just how much I care for you, and how important you are, and you're very special. And you know what? It's so funny. I really love deep. I feel deeply for people, but people would not know that because I sit my ass in my basement alone. But it doesn't mean I'm not with you out there, loving you. And real just another real quick thing.
Doesn't have to be quick. Take your time. Like
Right, we got 2 hours, shit. But
what you want to say, babe? What you want to say?
the food is amazing here. The people, the clubs, the wine. I'm so happy for
Yeah,
you.
Lisbon is definitely on my bucket list. It's
I'm
definitely on
so
my
happy.
bucket list.
I'm so happy you're having a good time like that, Pop. You deserve it.
Yes.
Good morning,
Good
Sandra.
morning, Sandra.
Thank you, and I feel it, Pop. But so recently, my friend Lynn passed away as well, and this week she passed away, and so she was a supportive vocalist, and she did her own thing as well. And I remember, speaking about me being in the basement and how kind of this whole interviewing thing started and all that podcasting and blah blah. I had gotten to the point because Cheryl no longer wanted to sing with me. She I guess got tired of my shenanigans. She was like, okay, look. So
Comedy.
so I just sat in the basement. Shit. And she was like, you really need to do something. And people would invite me places, and I'd be so happy to be invited, but I wasn't going. But I would feel bad. I would be upset if I wasn't invited. Like, how are you not going to invite me? Well, you never go. Well, that's not the point. So just understand this. If you have friends who are like reclusive introverts, but when they go out there, extroverted, whatever, introverts want to be included and invited. They just don't want to be around your ass. We love you. We love you, but we just don't want to get out there. But
so we have to have a space for that. So what's the solution then?
Just invite them.
Invite them? Okay, so but what's the solution to wanting to see your introverted friend, but they're reclusive?
Okay, so
run down on them.
You can don't just pop up though, because you may not get in. Don't do that shit. You'll be knocking on the door. You'll be knocking on that motherfucking door, seeing the car parked outside. Like, I know you. Why do you get dark in there all of a sudden?
Wait, but something? I think I could be wrong. Weigh in on this, you guys. I think that's a certain demographic of folks too. When you're born between a certain age, like you just don't come to folks' house unannounced.
Yeah. I think it could be an age thing. I don't know. I don't know what the young people. I don't know what people do outside of the basement. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck people be doing. I don't know. I don't know. But I guess when I can, I force myself to show up. If they have a loved one that's really close to them, if they have a significant other, go through them, because the people who are typically introverted have an extroverted partner. Opposites like that attract. It's crazy. So go through the partner and let the partner know that it's really important. You would really love to see that friend.
Right. And the partner can pry them out of the crib.
The partner will get them out of the crib. That's what it is. Or we'll get you an invitation inside of the crib.
Okay, gotcha.
But one of the things I did was because I enjoyed being creative visually, right? Like making videos and stuff like that. I decided that I was going to, instead of going outside. Hey, Brandon, good morning, honey.
Biggest head as ever. Hello.
I would invite people into the basement and interview them. My friends, I had a lot of creative friends. The first person that I invited into the basement was Kevin E. Taylor. And he came down and we did this whole big thing. If you have 45 minutes, like you want to watch a whole entire TV show, like that kind of time that you really ain't got shit else to do, watch that video. It's really, really, I think it was the first one I ever put together, and it's probably one of the best ones that I've ever done, because I had pictures of him growing up, pictures of him and his mother. We talked about his love of Natalie Cole, and we sprinkled in some pictures of her. He talked about his time at BET. We talked about, just different things. And, he's a great orator.
What? One of the best I've ever,
right?
Yeah.
And so we did this whole Kevin E. Taylor thing. And my friend Lynn was the second person to ever come down for an interview. So, and I put that on my page for her friends, family, people that we know, they could check that out. I think in that one, for some reason, I thought I was going to do commercials. It's so funny. In retrospect, there were some people from our church. One person was selling jewelry. So we did a little thing about her jewelry in the middle of the interview, like a commercial. And then there was some spoken word stuff going on down in Newark, and we did a little commercial for that. It was so, but yeah. Anyway, I don't know, honey. But your pretty green eyes. Brandon got a thing for your eyes, child, and he called you, and you ain't answered.
You know what? It depends on. I finally got the rhythm right with the medications. So the first 2 hours, don't ask me. I tend to get out of the way. I go lay down somewhere because you can get bank account numbers and all kinds of things. Like the first 2 hours is like, where am I? What happened? And things tend to be funny. And then I crash. And then after that, I wane. So it's like, okay, like right now, like I have to get up. I had to make an adjustment because last Saturday, I didn't adjust right, which is what I was going to apologize for if you saw the feedback tapes, because there were parts in it where I was like, wait, I could feel it, and I didn't adjust right. So if it comes off a little,
you doing the Dolphin nod and I didn't realize it.
Either that or just like a step behind the beat, So I didn't go look at it, but I felt that way when I was on camera. So I was cautious, about, if I'm saying things in real time in my head.
You were fine. You were fine.
Listen, it don't feel like that sometimes. So I just have to run a check from the outside.
You were good. You were good. I felt comfortable leaving you on you and Gigi up here. I stepped back and let y'all do your thing, But speaking of that, yeah, so my friend who, and I have to say, so I had to drive up to the Bronx last night for the homegoing ceremony, which was a big, beautiful space. And it was nice and full. And one of the people who work with me, who I've known for many years, most of them, I've been working there for many years, stood up and talked about how, great she was at her job, because we were colleagues, and she was just the sweetest thing, although she always wanted to put my hair up because she was never a hair out of place and very, very femmy. And come here, boo, come here, JaVonne, you're gonna let me just put your hair up one time. Just let me see it. Nah, Kim, we're not doing that. Okay, I get it. I feel you. Let me just a little bit of, what did she say? I don't even know what it is. A little concealer and some eyeshadow.
The doll baby you.
I was like, yo, Kim, the more she talked, the deeper my voice got. We're not doing that. Nah, Kim. All right, come here, boo. I'm sorry. I know. Just how about some earrings? Nah, Kim, I'm not feeling that. How about one earring? I might do. I might let you give me one, But that was my girl, that was my girl. And I miss her. But when our colleague stood up and said, and this is a big cathedral that, where the ceremony was taking place. And she said, all the people from our specific agency, I'm just not going to holler out what it is. Please stand. When I tell you that 3/4 of that place stood up, I mean, and it was there were few butts in the seats. And some of the butts in the seat that was still in the seat, when I looked over, I recognized them from work. And
let me ask. Can I ask a question? How close was she to retirement age?
That's the heartbreaker too. Now, I always thought that she and I were very close in age, but I come to find out that Thursday would have been her 50th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, Thursday would have been her 50th birthday. I knew her when her birthday was. I just didn't know how young she was. So she didn't, she didn't make it. It was sad. Anyway, it was just crazy how many people were there. And the lady sitting next to me said, "Y'all run deep." And it just, somebody came down from Tarrytown to say, they didn't even really know where their car was and all this other stuff. But they had to come down because of the impact she had on their life in our particular job. And we don't get to hear those stories that often, but this lady was adamant that she was going to big her up, how she lost and regained her life. And this lady, my friend, my colleague, walked her through the whole process and told her what she couldn't do in order to make it through to the other side of this. And her success, and how the lady now has a nonprofit and how she's paying it forward. And it was
awesome.
It was just awesome. And yes, she was blessed and gone too soon. And I just want to say I'm gonna miss her terribly.
So
terrible.
sorry for your loss.
Yeah, but here's the other loss.
Okay.
When I walked out, and I was very intentional when I got out of my car to look to see where I was when I went to, to the funeral place, to the cathedral, right? I said, okay, I'm parked over here, blah, right? When I got out, I came out, I walked past my car, walked up the block, looked around, couldn't find the car, walked around 3 long city blocks, walked down and around, my back started hurting. I was like, damn, I'm out of shape. Then it wasn't, it's the Bronx. So people checking me out. I'm holding 2 phones. My pants are falling off of me. I don't know why. It's just
you walked out your pants.
Just a hot ass mess. Hot ass mess. Okay. Walked around 3 blocks, walked past my car again, walked around, saw a lady. I said, is there a police station around here? Because I'm thinking maybe they towed my car. They shouldn't have, but maybe,
So you said you walked past your car. So at some point, okay.
I'm on the second trip past my car now.
Oh man.
I'm doing that beep beep thing that you could do so your car can alarm. Probably 3 blocks away from my car. After I walked past it the second time, asked the lady, do you know where there's a fire station? She said, yes, it's go down, walk around. I'm up on 233rd and White Plains.
Whoa.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So if y'all know the Bronx, y'all know what I'm talking about.
That hill?
and you don't keep walking around unless you're looking for something, okay?
That part.
Because after a while, people gonna be looking for you, okay? So the third trip around my car, I'm like, damn, do I call people from New Jersey, from central New Jersey, to come all the way up to the Bronx to come get me and help me look for my car?
Hey, hubby.
How you doing, Chike? I'm born and bred from the Bronx, but yo, I'm not 15 in the Bronx no more. Boogie down all day.
Yes.
But then finally,
look at that picture. That's a gorgeous man.
Yeah, he is handsome.
Hey, Chike.
After a while, I was like, okay. Yep. The end of the 2 train.
And yep, sketchy.
I was in that sketchy part, but I found my car and I was like, okay.
Now, at what point did you have your aha moment? You skipped that.
No, because
did you go, there it is, or did you go, oh my God?
I walked around it again because now here's the thing. There was a guy standing across the street from my car. Each of the 3 trips. He ain't moved. And each time Yes, you are gorgeous. You ain't know?
Okay.
Damn.
You better ask somebody. Shoot.
Well, according to this picture, you fine. I ain't never seen you in person, but
I've seen him in person. The picture reflects life imitates art.
Is
Trust.
that true? Is that the true picture right there?
Mhm.
Chike, have you seen your picture? That picture's fine.
You
What?
ain't looking at his picture or the mirror. Something wrong with him. That's all right.
So, Brandon, in due time, just you need to just slow your roll, okay? Just chill. I'm gonna get to you. Do I ever not get to you? Just I'm trying to plug. Hey, me over here. I got you, Brandon. I always got you. Chill.
Brandon's also got a lot of stories. I think at some point we should have him on because
Yes.
Brandon, he's like probably one of the oldest souls I know for his age. He's like 90 in age, but like maybe 30 on paper.
Yeah. Yep. Some days you slightly agree. You got to do some self-love, baby. You got to do self-love. Tough self-love. and I was looking at some kind of something on one of these I don't know, some social media platform where they did this little skit where this guy comes in and sees his homie and he's like, yo, what's up? Damn, dude, you looking good. And it was like a take on how girls, when they see each other, they be like, okay, sweetie, you looking good. Damn, that is tight. I see the boobs all tight and up there and all. So he was like, oh, but yo, why those shorts making the dent come out? What? No, you repping hard. What? You gonna have all the ladies wear those. I'm telling you, the way you shining down there. What? And one of their girlfriends comes in like, is there something y'all want to tell me? And they're like, what? We can't big each other up the way y'all be bigging each other up? I'm just saying, my homeboys on the shine downtown. I know y'all be watching. Like, yo, bro, they're gonna be crotch watching. You keep it like that. And the guy's like, yeah, I'm slanging.
Oh God, help me, help us.
It's funny, but we gotta allow men to be able to big themselves up and big each other up.
I think like this life that we are living physically, good people. Now, nobody know. I mean, at least I don't know anybody who's gone to the other side, came back and had a whole conversation with me about it. That's just me. But if you have, please feel free to chime in. However, what I will say is this very, 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 sometimes I think the concept of time is very arrogant. Here's why. Because we plan things. We've gotten so arrogant about the concept of time is that we plan things like vacations and retirements and bar mitzvahs and sweet 16s in the future, like we are guaranteed to show up for it, right? Like we got some kind of guarantee that on this date, this is going to happen.
Right.
When in fact, you don't. We are all here by the grace of whatever God of your understanding, but we're all here by the grace, right? And I think that we have to accomplish maybe a few things, but there's a hierarchy in some of the things that we have to accomplish, right? And I think the greatest of these is love. I agree wholeheartedly with that particular scripture, right? The greatest of these is love. And how interconnected we all are in this experience, in this journey, right? Like, period. So when you want to think that you're contained or you're going through an experience by yourself or what is this? No, I think that like sometimes when I'm on because life is a series of highs and lows, right? And it's ebbs and flows, like up and down. And I think your capacity to navigate it all, right, depends on one, the lens that you look through life in. Two, I think a lot of it has to do with whatever journey you've been on, and how quickly you've learned certain lessons or blessings in that journey to be able to apply it to the ebb and flow, right? And three, the reflection of who you are internally radiated outside of yourself, that radiates outside of yourself, that connects you to your community base, right? Because you think you're going through any ebb or flow. Like, I'm gonna tell you something. And there is, I've had the high of high and the low of lows, right? And neither one of them feel good without people. Neither one of them.
You're right. You're right about that.
Like, neither one of those experiences feel good without people that you love and care about. So you can have your biological family in some cases, or you can have your chosen family, or you could have an eclectic mix of both. But I'm gonna tell you something, neither one of those experiences feel good without people. So check the way you're living your life, how you're speaking life into others, how you are moving through the world, because this is not a dress rehearsal. You are on right now. You are on, right? The show is going. Each day you wake up, showtime. Step off the bed and say to yourself, thank you. Whoever the God of your understanding is, thank you. And what we got for us today. And then we navigate, we navigate it all, because at the end of the day, when you're hearing things like people passing or transitioning, ages are young, oh, Pastor Terez, oh wow, I'm speaking with my spirit, because I have to, as I speak to you, I remind myself. So
Amen. Go right
that's what this is about, and you just have to, because I want to say a special shout out to the family and friends of Irv Gotti, another legend, pioneer, gone too soon, and it just kind of draws you all into what is, what's really real, and ain't nothing really real but love. I would like to say, if I were to leave tomorrow, and I'd say, if God calls me home tomorrow, peace party people, and I'm gonna see you on the other side, right? But if God was to call me home tomorrow, how would I want people to remember me? Would I want, because it's certainly about how I made them feel, right? Or our exchanges. Or please tell me we had a funny exchange, a gut busting exchange where we was bent over laughing for at least 2 minutes. I just want 2 minutes of your life. That's it. That you can remember. That's it. That's all. Simple. Because I love to laugh. And I love, just to see people happy and be able to go through fond memories. So like, I already have like certain, written things out, little notes. And this is not morbid sounding. I think we all need to prepare for life the same way we need to prepare for transition, right? And I don't call it death, because I just think you go onto a higher plane, right? But I already have certain things, like, please don't cry, don't do that. And if you do cry, hear certain things. I'm gonna stain this into your mental Rolodex. What you crying for? Hush all that noise. You hear that if you start, right? And share funny stories, share about the biggest hugs, because that's what it's about, really. It's about love. The greatest of these is love. And, when I think of Brandon, he makes me laugh. He also gets on my nerve, my whole entire nervous system. He gets on it, but he knows that. And I love him, when I think of, just people as a whole. I'm a people person, and, that's it. I've been to funerals of people that I could not stand, but went to support other people. Be like, that motherfucker there.
Yeah,
Will you please close the box and let him go? You know what I mean? Like,
I did that once.
I've had to do it. I've had to do it. And ironically, I wasn't the only one there. But you go to support those. Funerals are for the living. And because there's a lot of scriptures. I mean, not scriptures. I'm sorry. There are a lot of I forget what you call them. Somebody correct me in the chat, please. Where they say that your spirit lingers for a number of days after you transition, before you take flight to wherever
you gotta go.
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny how because I'd be sitting in the pews next to you, chatting, Why is she crying? That bitch know she ain't like me. Why is she here? What's wrong with you? But just come on. I just say that for a little levity. But 45 days. Thank you, Queen Lioness of Judah. 45 days. Yeah, I don't. And where is that connected to? What doctrine? Can you share that? It's the tidying up before the transition. Yes, that's what I've heard. Thank you, Shike. See what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? But I can't wait to talk to Criss. It's a whole lot of I'm grateful he's on our show today.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward.
Yeah.
He's excited about being on as well.
This stuff is ridiculous. I was looking at let me ask a question to the community again. How y'all doing out there with these with making shifts in how you do daily life? And by that I mean, some of us may have just made decisions that we're not going to participate with certain entities that don't support us, right? Mm-hmm. And by us I mean we the people. And we the people comes in many faces today, right?
It's so many. Many.
Yes. How y'all doing with Exxon? Because the Heritage Foundation has gotten quite a bit of money over the years from Miss Exxon when y'all pulling up your cars, and
Mm-hmm.
when you have a choice of gas stations,
exactly,
put them way at the bottom, with respect to where you live and whatever,
Exactly. So one thing that I've done is, and Kimberly, I agree with you. I've decided to stop shopping at certain places also. Mm-hmm. What I do is when I know I'm intentionally going out, because if I'm going out, it's for a reason, because otherwise I'm in the basement, right? So I try to search what brand or what store is doing this stupid ass anti-DEI thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Before I spend my money, I'm trying to be as
responsible
and responsible. I don't want to give you my money if you don't support me or my people.
How y'all doing with Miss Walmart? Y'all all right over there?
Oh, I don't.
And I'm saying this, with some harm reduction, right?
Yeah, I don't. I have not. I can't even. Well, I can remember the last time I went. It was sometime last year. And I'm blessed because like Kimberly reminded us, there are some areas that only have particular stores. So I have a car and I have access to multiple stores in my neighborhood, in my area. Chike says he's streamlining where my dividends go. However, also looking to research a community to join for the reckoning.
Important. Absolutely. I recently heard that Walmart recorded profit losses, but I don't know if that's true. Right. I know Target did. Yeah, a lot of us for that one. That's the biggie.
That is the biggie. And, I'm trying to see, okay, there are certain things that I have on subscription that just come, right? So it's like, okay, do I look at the actual company and see if they have a way to send me something direct? You may be able to save money by cutting out the middleman. Going directly to the company.
Yeah, I've done that with two things with this company that I was getting a lot. I like to make prayer oils and stuff, and I was getting a lot of the stuff from these companies. When I found out, that their factories weren't right, I was like, oh no, we have to switch that. So I went straight to the maker, and it was not only was it cheaper because we like that, right?
Oh yeah.
But it was I could buy more of it, which was, I don't even know why. And it was just an extra step or two, but it made all the difference. So I don't go with the middleman anymore at all,
Yeah.
But and if for those of you who are beer drinkers, I am not, you may want to consider taking a step back from Coors Company because they are the co-authors of Project 2025 through the Heritage Foundation. So you just, these are things that make you go, oh, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that until like a couple of days ago. And I'm not a beer drinker, but, I just found that interesting.
Yep. I just want to shout out real quick some of the people who were watching or are watching via Instagram. Layla Wright, her, has a new book out.
Ah, yes.
And congratulations. Can't wait to read it. Sugar J.
It's audiobook, yes?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how that's. I think it's first going to be in a what do you call the reading thing that's digital?
Mm-hmm.
I so don't read because I read all day at work. My eyeballs would just fall out if I came home and read a book. I've been doing audio books forever.
Audiobooks are bomb when you're driving.
Oh, hell yeah. So I'm glad that we mentioned that. But hi Kaz. Hey, Top Billings, it's Kevin. I'm glad that you mentioned that. I was thinking that maybe we could do sort of like an audio book club thing.
Okay.
If we have enough people who are, down with it, even one or two. That's to me, where three are joined, that's it.
Right.
I was on Twitter heavy, but I've taken down my account and joined Blue Sky. Yeah, I left X a while ago. It's just too nasty. Matter of fact, I went on X and saw some straight up deep dish porn.
Yeah.
I mean, deep dish.
How's that not screen? But then they'll take music down for anyway.
And I just want to say, what you were talking about something. Oh, you were talking about. You said a couple of things, Rez. A couple of things. First, you will be remembered with love. Know that now.
Oh, thank you.
You'll always be with love. Number two, I don't remember what number two was because I was in the middle of loving you.
Oh.
I was loving you in that moment, Rez.
Loving you.
Oh my God, that was my jam.
What?
That was my jam. Oh my God.
That's why I want to leave something here that's useful for, for folk. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
Something here that's useful that people can, benefit from long after I'm gone.
Exactly. We were talking about Audible. This is true. And yes, Terez will always be remembered for being warm, open, and sincere. Funny, smart.
Oh, thank you, Shika.
And funny, yeah. And warm. But funny and smart. Audible. You too, Chike. I want to meet you. I want to meet you too, Chike.
Yes.
So I just got finished listening to Jada Pinkett Smith's Audible book. Right before that, I listened to, oh my God. I could see her face. I can't think of her. Oh, Jesus.
Jennifer Lewis?
Nope. Jennifer Lewis, I told you about that book 5 years ago. You listened to it 5 years ago. And every time we say Audible book, you say, you got to listen to Jennifer Lewis.
I know. I loved it.
She's done like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, no.
So yes. Jennifer,
I love because she's always in a character. So like
if you haven't listened to Jennifer Lewis's books, please listen to them. Get back to us and we can chat about them to ease Terez's soul. Because anytime you say Audible, she says, have you listened to Jennifer Lewis? I listened to Jennifer Lewis years ago. And after listening to Jennifer Lewis's book, I remember specifically, I spoke to you and your wife, and I told Mo she needs to do a book, and she needs to she has to do it herself. She has to, narrate it.
Yeah.
Because
That's the
nobody can-
thing. Don't just do an audio book where somebody else is
Right.
narrating.
You got to do it
Do it
yourself.
a lot of
And-
yeah.
And Mo has to. I just heard it as I was listening years ago to Jennifer Lewis's book. I was like, Monifa needs to do one of these.
Yeah.
Fast forward to today. Oh God, what is her name? She played in The Help. She played in Fences with Denzel.
The hell? Octavia Spencer?
No, the lead. Viola Davis. Damn.
Viola Davis. Yes.
That book will have you one tear, one snot. She is so freaking awesome. Okay.
One tear, one snot.
One
Love
tear,
it.
one snot. And it's a success story that just hits different. And oh my God, Chike. Yes. Wait. That book is like 5,000 and 5,500 pages.
But it needs to be.
I hope you're listening to the audio book because she weaves in music, and it's like, like you said, you listen while you drive. As I was listening to that book, I was every day falling deeper in love with Barbra Streisand. And I was like, I grew up, Barbra Streisand. She was all over everything. They only had 5 actresses back then, right? And this, and Barbra Streisand was one of them, and I liked her. Okay. But my God, it's like finally she comes and she sits in your car and she just tells you about her life story. And you're like, really? And she says, can you picture that? I don't know why they did it. I mean, no. And then, and that's how she talks. Like she's narrating. It's a conversation and you can talk back. And it's like that old lady that lives next door that lived this fabulous life and you always wanted to talk to you. You always wanted to talk to her. And one day she asked you, could you take me to the store, sweetheart? And as you take her, she's just telling you.
Yeah.
And you're like, with Robert Redford, really?
Did you see her last show? That they put on one of those streaming platforms. I loved the way, like, first of all, Mo had the opportunity to go see her last live show at Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
And I was, I'm not a jealous person, but that day I was home like this.
Yeah.
Because I just knew. However, they did broadcast that live, right? And it was crazy because that's when she had that big clown picture sending the clown drop down, and she was talking about Captain Chaos, and she dropped a whole scrim that had a clown face on it and called him a clown back then.
Look, I'm telling you, you read that book, you listen to that book, it's fucking amazing. It's worth the days and days and days it's going to take to get through it. Cheryl started listening, but she put it on fast forward. Because Cheryl just ain't got time for it. But I love the nuances and her experiences as one of the first female directors that's trying to get credit. Just it's just awesome. Viola Davis and Jada Pinkett Smith.
Now, what about Jada's book? Go ahead and bust that back. What about Miss
Jada Pinkett Smith took me back to when Jada was that little cutie. And it's almost like as she's narrating it, she does the old Jada in her voice. And it's like, oh shit, that's who she used. Yeah, I remember her. And she's, and then her voice seems to mature as the story goes on. And there are recent incidences that, she took a lot of grief for. And there are a lot of people who were big Jada Pinkett Smith fans who changed their minds because of recent events or what they perceived to be, what they saw, and people have a right to feel how they want to feel.
Right.
But this book is a good reminder. And, you only know what you see. And sometimes what you see is not real. And it's only one side of the story. And it may not be either one or the other true side of either story. So in this book, you get to hear her side of the story. What I will say is that it's entertaining. She tells her truth. She is humble as fuck, which I didn't know that about her. Let me just say, I don't know Jada personally, never met her. But sometimes you can see people and get a sense of them. And I always felt like she was kind of deep and that we probably had some things in common. We have a lot of shit in common. A lot in common. And she's a lot more spiritual than I had imagined. And she's humble to a large degree. I mean, she's a fucking human being like everybody else, and she tells her story. And that's the thing. That's the thing. It's a good fucking read.
Oftentimes, like, and the only person that I have to say that I look out for because of our Momentum J is you in my DMs stuff, because I really don't check them in real time, so I could see something. And please, if anybody's ever trying to reach me to tell me anything, I'm sorry. I don't get to the in real time. It's a lot of checking to do. That's why I prefer to, if you want to tell me something, send me a text message. But I say all this to say, oftentimes people ask me my opinions of certain, relationships and stuff. And I always am going to respectfully decline, because you just, like, y'all stay out of these people's business, particularly these married folk that, unfortunately, our culture today, we have broken the fourth wall. And for whatever reasons, sometimes when you do things or have public experiences, remember that these are real people, and gone are the days where you had these multi-million-dollar, six-figure publicists that would keep your stuff, you know what I mean? Your image thing, whatever. We don't have that anymore. You either are not doing interviews at all, right? Or you have someone that stays out front that keeps your mission statement in front of you. Because the fact of the matter is, what we pay them for, if it's music, if it's acting, whatever it is what they deliver on. Everything else that we manage to get along the way that ain't our business is just something else. And it may be, because of some kind of default somewhere, or something that occurred, a human experience that occurred in their lives, right?
Yeah.
So when you think about people who have had very public displays of stuff, remembering that we're connected, right? And sometimes, you may not tell your story, but somebody else may tell their story, and as it connects to you, like I'm not here ratting on her, but I'm just telling my experience that, like, I'm qualified to tell. She just happens to be a part of it, and I can't escape that.
Right.
So it's kind of like, that's what happens, and that's the culture today, right? But just understand, I would like to just impress upon anybody listening to any of this stuff, like, it's always other pieces, and don't jump on the bandwagon with forming an opinion about somebody.
Exactly.
When they've had a low period or whatever it was. It may not even been a low period. It's just somebody else's interpretation of whatever they experienced by that hand. And I promise you, there's more pieces to it. So don't waste your time with committing to a side, You know, somebody asked me about the Papoose and Remy shit. I don't care.
Yeah.
They're two grown people that'll work out whatever their differences are or not. Don't care. That ain't my business, not my business.
Exactly. I
And-
think I think we should start an audio book club, and the first book will be Jennifer Lewis's book, okay? Just so that we could do that and we could have a formal discussion about the book. So I'm going to listen to it again. The very first Jennifer Lewis book. I want everybody to go on Audible. Uh-oh. It's a part of Amazon, isn't it?
It sure is. Ooh, how do we get this?
Ooh. I have tons of Audible books. Okay, we'll get back to you on that.
Well, what's the other one though? The other one, the other big, is that Amazon too?
I don't know.
We gotta look to see
We're gonna figure this out, because we do want to support our sisters and our brothers, and just some good reading and stuff. So we're gonna get back to you on that next week or so, within the next 2 weeks or so. I want to just mention what Brandon was talking about, because I promised that I would. We're celebrating over 50 years of unforgettable music. Brandon is working on a book based on his years with Roberta Flack, and a YouTube special to celebrate his godmother's legacy, its importance of our history. I told you, Brandon, I got you. Damn. I'm not gonna let it go without letting people know. Yes. See the audio Amazon conundrum. Yes. Okay. Also, before we bring on our special guest who's in our virtual green room, I want to do our Black History moment. Okay.
What? Hang on, Queen Lioness of Judah. You're saying that are you talking about Roberta Flack being your teacher at sixth grade, or Jennifer Lewis? Which one? Either one was fabulous. I would just love to know which one you're
That'd
talking
be
about.
crazy. Yes, we're all looking forward to that, Brandon. That's interesting. And you know what? If it's Roberta Flack, then Brandon, you need to get in touch with Queen Lioness. Yes. And have her contribute in some kind of way, discuss with her experiences with your godmother as her teacher. That may be something you want to add or mention in some kind of way. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah. So we are going to do our Black History moment now. Since I did scramble. Hate to scramble for nothing. But here we go. Okay, give me. Where'd you go? Okay. Let's do this. Here we go.
We're still in the 19th century and women didn't have a lot of rights yet. Is there anybody that you can think of that really had an impact?
The person that, in my opinion, made the greatest impact in Ohio and across the country is a woman by the name of Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. She was born in 1825 in Baltimore, Maryland. She was a person of color. Her parents are free, so she's born free. Unfortunately, her parents pass away, and so at age 3, her uncle, William, and her aunt Henrietta take her in. He has a school, he's built a school, and he's teaching free colored children how to read and write. And so Francis is one of his students. As she gets older, at around age 13, she works in a very well-to-do white family home as a domestic, and they have a huge library. And she is allowed to read just about everything that they have. She loves to write, and she has published her first book of poetry by the time she's 20. She comes to Ohio, and she's teaching at the Union Seminary, and she's teaching sewing and embroidery. She's writing, she's starting to lecture about all sorts of causes, the plight of slaves.
Remember slavery's cruel hands make heathens at your doors.
And so she goes on the public circuit. She travels in the South, she travels all through the East Coast, she travels in New England, and then she winds up again in Ohio. In 1858, she is speaking to the Colored Men's Association. I think this is where she finally meets her husband to be. His name was Fenton Harper. He's a widower and he has 3 children. And so for her to leave her speaking engagements and her writing, she's publishing books, she turns a lot of money over to all of these benevolent causes, but she gets married and she helps her husband buy a farm outside of Columbus near Grove City. She's taking care of his 3 children and they have a child of their own, Mary. But she's not married long because 4 years later, he passes away. Shortly afterwards, 5 months later or so, she's back on the speaking circuit again, still giving money to the anti-slavery societies. She is campaigning about temperance. She's speaking now at conventions about education. You know, the war's over. They're even traveling back to the South, talking to slaves that have now gotten their freedom, but still are living there in shacks. And she really talks to the women, and she has private meetings with these women on how to elevate themselves. I find it extraordinary in 1871 that she's going to the South, you know, when we know that the Klan has started to rise, you know, and no one ever bothers her.
She sounds fearless.
She is
She
fearless.
probably projected that.
She died on February the 20th, 1911.
Oh, she lived a long time.
She lived a long time. She lived to be 85 years old.
Crime has no sex, and yet today I wear the brand of shame.
I think she still has a profound impact, although her name may not be as much a household word, because I think what always impressed me about her was that she really could call it out about men. She wrote a poem about the double standard, and the double standard has to be the most eye-opening poem you've ever read. How men had defined the sphere for women, and that what was the difference between a woman who had fallen and a young man who had caused the fall.
Women not being raised and elevated to the level of men, that would trouble her. And she was just so adamant about trying to make a difference in all these lives.
So yeah, that's who it was.
Nice. Nice. How are we doing out there with sharing a Black History something, either daily or however we can, just to make sure that we are doing what we do? I'm talking to everybody in on the chat and outside of the chat. Because and this is in direct response to people saying they're trying to take away Black History Month. Well, they didn't give it to us. Black History is Earth Day, 365 days of the year.
Exactly.
Period. And even though there had been a delegated short month to talk about all that we can, how much of that are we we supporting on our own. Like everything right now is turned in on self. I had an opportunity to speak to Debbie Jackson, the widow of the late great Hal Jackson, who started WLIB, and of course we know WBLS, right, with Percy Sutton. And it's rare that you'll get an opportunity, or when you have the opportunity, thank them for being part of the shoulders that you stand on, because Hal Jackson kicked open unbelievable doors for people of color in broadcasting and radio, and some of us from the East Coast may remember Hal Jackson's Talented Teens, because that went on forever. And it highlighted quite a few people that today and celebrate today came through his Talented Teens, where there were shows that he put on to show the talent and amazing contributions that our teens did. And he always was supportive of the arts and so many things, so many.
Absolutely.
Things. She told us she was doing a compilation of photographs and had a video from Hal's years.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you saw him with like a young Stevie Wonder. Hal Jackson died very, very up in age, and you saw the young Stevie Wonders and like so many that, and he looked great all the way through his stages. But yeah, amazing. And I think that you should do something from your perspective, from your lens, to celebrate Roberta Brandon. That would be a great idea. I think that, if anybody were to do something like that, I think with the reverence that you tend to give artists of a certain caliber, I think that would be amazing for you to do, because I know that you would do the dive that is the deepest. You would need scuba gear for the dive that you would do. So good luck to that.
They think it will hurt us if they don't acknowledge our month. I don't think so. And I don't think so either, Queen. They don't have to acknowledge anything.
Right.
Their acknowledgement or failure to acknowledge. As a matter of fact, their failure to acknowledge us is something that's ongoing.
Right.
They've never really.
That's why they suffer. So that's why they suffer so. Because they don't think that anybody has to exist outside of them on the planet.
Think about the recent movies about historical accomplishments made in America, and now the recent movies are showing that Black women were the ones behind it. Hidden Figures, the women in the mailroom during the war couldn't figure out how to get that mail out until a Black woman came. So they don't have to acknowledge us. We're going to do what we do, and we're going to acknowledge ourselves.
Right.
And there's a young lady at my job who sends love you too, Brandon. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but love you. Who all this month has been sending out Black history facts to our entire office. So I appreciate that.
Nope.
I have been asked, it's interesting that you bring this up, and Criss, we're going to get to you shortly, hon. I have been asked to do something creative because I make little videos at work all the time, right? Not all the time, but from time to time. To teach or to, get a message across to staff. And so they asked me to do something for Black history. Now, in the past, I have done things, but not, I don't think substantial things, to be quite honest, right? When we talk about, okay, let's do something for Black history, then usually we're talking about educating people about inventors, things that Black people created that nobody's getting credit for, or Martin Luther King and this kind of thing and that kind of thing. I've done all of that. But now I'm less interested in the things that we created that made sense, because out of necessity, invention is born. We will always create what we need to get through. Like somebody was getting tired of the shenanigans in the street, a black man, and said, you know what, we need a stoplight. Because people, we got intersections here. It just makes sense. I'm tired of walking up and down these stairs carrying all this crap. We need an elevator. Okay, that's black people. That's black people. We need a cotton gin. Well, I gotta pick it. Let's anyway. Right now, for me, Black history in America is American history. Because the history that needs to be told about Black people in America has more to do with them than us. Our survival is apparent. It is relevant and substantial, considering you can't kill us. You tried. You tried.
More times.
More times, and you know.
And what you're making is resilience. That's what you're making. So cut it out.
And so
cut it out.
Yeah. There was a video that I came across on TikTok. TikTok is wonderful for those kinds of things, right? It's a white guy, and he's talking about this idea of whiteness. You might have seen it. He said it didn't even exist. There were no white people and Black people up until the 1600s. That's what's up. It's American history, right? So prior to the 1600s, Europeans, white people, Caucasians define themselves as I'm English, you're French, he's German, you know, he's whatever, you know, they're Chinese, yeah, he's a Czech, and you know, he's Irish, Polish, whatever, Italian, and even the Italians in the north didn't think that the Sicilians were really Italian, and you know, all they did was kill each other. They had wars against each other until they found out there was somebody else they could kill, right? So the Africans were Africans, and they kidnapped, enslaved them, and brought them to America, even though there was some already here. We already know all of that, but we don't have to go there. And they enslaved the Africans, and they had indentured slaves that were European Caucasians at the same time. And what would happen is that there would be these revolts that were the enslaved Africans and indentured slaved white people. And they would get together and go after the colonizers, the rich white guys. So the rich white guys realized that there's a lot more of them than there are of them. And so they had to divide and conquer some kind of way. They understand one thing that rich people understand is math. They know how to count. And there's a hell of a lot more poor and underserved people than there are the wealthy. And so the easiest way to divide them is by color. You can see it, you know who's coming. It was just the easiest way. At one point, they tried by religion, but you can't look at a person and see their religion. So it's just simple. Divide them by color. And so they got rid of indentured slavery, and they gave those white men horses and $1.50 and told them that they are better and they need to get on those horses and make sure those Black people stayed in their place because those Black people wanted their jobs. Sounds familiar. So now time progresses, because now white man on the horse, you think he's better than somebody. Oh, thank you for the self-esteem. And that's right. I'm with those rich guys because we look alike. Because that was the selling point. You're better than them. Look, you white like us. We white. They Black, dirty, black, black, black. Right? Blackity, black, black. And then time moves forward, right? And white guys get unionized because they need to, you know, fight these these white rich guys, the owners of these companies that they're working for, right? They need to unionize. However, they don't want black people in the union because they still better than black people, and they don't want to be next to black people because these white rich guys have convinced them that they're better than these black. So they separate themselves and no, you can't be in the union, right? But when the union strikes, the white rich guys hire the black people and put them in, and now the union people are mad at the black people for taking their jobs. But wait a minute, why you
nothing that wasn't given?
Why are you mad at them? What you needed to do was add them into your union. So now they did. Now the unions are, black and white people in the unions, a brotherhood, right? So what's going on now? After a while, and really progress is so slow. It's so slow. But it started. We move up 3, we get pulled back 4. We move up 5, we get pulled back 4. But we made a step now, right? When they saw a brown man as the president, they doubled down on that idea of black and white and made sure that the poor and the middle class were divided. And right now we're more divided than we ever have been.
Racism is mental illness.
It really is. It's just ridiculous.
It's
ridiculousness. It's to the point, and you could Google it, DEI. Who does DEI benefit the most? White women. But there are white women walking around saying that they're anti-DEI.
That's because I think that, comprehension is an amazing thing.
Education is an amazing thing.
Yeah, education and comprehension is an amazing thing because a lot of us, let's face it, we sat in them classes and we didn't comprehend a damn thing. We sat there and just time just went by. But it's like this whole idea that if you, like, on one hand, you say to them, listen, you do know that you motherfuckers showed all the way out and continue to do so differently today. But at one point, y'all didn't let us nowhere near what we had. Y'all took what we tried to build on our own and, grabbing our own bootstraps, i.e.
You burnt it down.
The place. You burnt it down. You didn't want to sow. What we had to do was create these policies that prevented y'all from doing that anymore. Okay, so we stuck them in things that would benefit us. We're not asking you for anything. We're just saying, stop your bullshit in these policies, right? So then we put the policies in, and of course, we're the last ones to benefit from them, but nonetheless, they exist, right? So that we can do things like be educated in certain areas where we qualify to be, and in most cases are overqualified to be, i.e. Harvard and Yale and all these other schools that traditionally did not let us in. And guess what? Y'all were hurt the most by not letting us in. Here's why. Because you will never, ever be able to erase our contributions to this jam called America, Corporation of America. You just can't do it, period. We've had too much free service, i.e. cotton, being our biggest commodity at one point, and every other thing that we've created to make this system we have here, right? So, sorry.
It's
sorry.
When you think about it, Terez, it's just the dumbest thing on earth if you think about it.
It really is. And anybody who perpetuates it, you're showing the level of your mental illness.
The idea of being able to work and while you're pregnant, that's DEI. Mm-hmm. White women getting jobs, DEI. It's DEI. So,
and having diverse, which means that you don't have a boardroom or an office full of white men. The idea that you are able to come and work in certain places, women, because, remember, we had a rightful place, according to them, for a long time. We only were able to exercise anything where it mattered around war. because they were going to war and somebody had to hold it down at home, and we couldn't be behind the kitchen doing it. We had to get jobs.
Speaking of war, they want to
excuse me,
eliminate trans people from the military.
So, okay.
If anybody wants to die for this country, God bless them, and thank you for your service. With that being said, the LGBT community, the LGBTQAI community is being bombarded. There are some serious fear tactics going on. There are threats to remove life-saving medication. I'm going to bring our special guest today on to discuss some concerns. Criss Smith. How you doing, Criss?
Good afternoon, JaVonne, Terez. How you guys doing?
Good
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good afternoon, Criss. Good afternoon. I appreciate you being here. We appreciate you being here.
So, Criss, tell us a little bit about your story and what you've been up to.
Okay, so I am Criss Smith. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am the scapegoat of fools. I am an immigrant, a citizen, a Black man living a trans experience, and my human rights are valid and need to be respected.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah, so that being said, that's me. We all know about the craziness that's been going on since 47 got in office. But there are lots of very wicked things that he's doing. For instance, they have removed the T that represent trans from all federal websites. All organizations that had the T on there have to remove the T. There are not just the executive order, and don't forget the executive orders, as I've been told by our representatives, are not operable because they're all being challenged in court. But at the same time, they are actually doing things that are blocking trans people from getting the health care that they need. For instance, NYU, without notice, completely stopped gender affirming care for anyone that's 19 and under. Without notifying the patients. There were patients who had appointments that day who showed up and had to just leave. That's the most vulnerable part of our community, the children. Children are committing suicide. The largest suicide rate is between 14 and 18, and they are and 65% of them are LGBTQ. Children are panicking, adults are panicking, everyone is afraid of these things that are being put in place. So it's a very, very scary world right now. They've also New York State added a new bill because they also removed the T from victims of human trafficking and sex workers and those that are witness to a criminal, to a crime. They've removed trans people from that. You're not eligible to get any type of help if you're trans. People who are trying to get their passport updated, or when they send it in, because that's a federal agency that actually issue your passport, they're sending them back and not putting them in their new name. So it's just extremely scary, very, very scary. Just to let you know, my mom, who's 93 years old, I went to see her a couple of days ago, And she was so irritated, and she's an independent woman. She lives on her own even at her age. She was so irritated as soon as I walked in. And I'm like, Mom, what's the matter? She's like, Criss, they're gonna come and get you. You know, and I know trans people out there who are afraid to leave their house, who are just living in this fear. And it's very disheartening, very, very disheartening. Yeah, so let me just pause there before I go on, because there's so much to tell you guys. But I appreciate you for having me on the show. Thank you very
Absolutely,
much.
Criss. You know, we go way back. We go back
Uh-huh.
a while. And you know, it's a
There would
terrible, terrible reality that we're living in right now.
there would
Mhm.
be no. It's hard to fathom the LGBT community without the T. Quite frankly, they were pioneers in the instrument of freedom. As it relates to Stonewall. It was the trans community that stepped forward first, that took the hard lumps, and much physical and psychological and emotional abuse. you know um,
Mhm.
if now is a time to stand, it would be now. And first of all, it's like and forgive me, Criss, because when they do things like try to erase Black History Month or take the T out of LGBT, I know how it translates to the population.
Mhm.
But my first response is, you'll never, ever, ever in your white supremacist ass lives be able to do that. You know what I mean? Like, in our hearts and souls.
Mm.
And I just think that it's ridiculous. Um, I also did not know that about NYU, so thank you for that tidbit of information. And that's something that I'm from the East Coast, and NYU is in the heart of Greenwich Village, in New York, and which was a traditionally LGBTQ area of the city. That was our
Mhm.
little mecca. So to think that that's going on over there, may have to, and as an alumni, there may be some people I need to touch base with, just to say, and again, I don't care how you do whatever you do to make sure you get federal money. If you're required to do that, you need to shift up some things, internally, that make this make sense for the human being,
Yeah,
because
they are doing a lot of things illegally.
yeah, of
And
course.
it's just like Captain Chaos has not learned the lesson of quid pro quo. Like, if you don't do X, then you won't get Y.
Right.
And
Right.
it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And
He's a bully.
it's for no reason except to hurt people, to
Right.
hurt whomever you feel like needs to be the target today.
And how's that move? Like, my question is, with so many things that we have to that we could be fixing in this corporation and outside of it, you choose to attack internally? Like,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because it's a part of that division, divide and rule, right?
right.
So you attack the most marginalized people. You try to dehumanize them
Right.
so others can jump on top of it. Yeah, because don't forget, um, white supremacists in this country, only 10% of the population. But if they get other people on board to dehumanize us, to look at us as we're less than, then that's where the power is. That's where they actually win. You know, it's very disheartening. It
Absolutely.
really is.
And for those who don't think you have, because oftentimes you hear people saying, okay, well, that's them. Okay, well, you know something? 5 seconds, it'll be you, right?
Right.
And
Right.
if you're watching this go down to other
Hmm.
populations, to other people, and I don't care who it is, if you're watching injustice and the dehumanization of other people, you're soon to come up in this equation. And what will you want people to, how you want people to respond to you? Because the lesser of these is all connected. And that's what I was saying earlier in the show, that when the sooner we realize that we are all interconnected in some way, and I don't have to agree, it ain't got nothing to do with my opinion, you know. And for those who say it, I'm gonna say it again. I've said this many times. Gay is not what I do, it's who I am. So please take it off the notion, because folks want to be running in bedrooms and all kinds of things, you know, imagining things that may or may not be there, you know. And I've heard that, and I'm like, y'all cut it out. You know, we're talking about the human existence, you know, the human existence first, you know, and that's what we need to focus on, I believe, you know. For those who don't, okay, but when it's your turn, because it will be, we all get a turn, right?
That's right. That's right. And you know, and I always say that being trans is no different than knowing someone that's left-handed. We we are no different than that. You know, whatever percentage of the population is left-handed is the same percentage of trans people in the world, and we have always existed, and we will continue to exist. You know, there are tribes of us that existed thousands of years ago in parts of Africa. There's groups of us in Mexico that exist years and years ago. But it's none of anyone's business what we want to do with ourselves, with our body, and the way we live our lives.
That's right.
Mind your business.
That is
Mind your
powerful.
business.
Absolutely. The whole thing, Criss, even if you look at the quote unquote Karen syndrome, most of these people are talking about things, running up to people who they have no business with, people enjoying themselves in the park.
Right.
Why are you here? Why are you here? Like, who are you? Go away. But if people could just mind their fucking business.
That's right. That's right. Just mind your business. Yeah, you know, because I always say, look, my Con Edison bill this month is $198. Are you paying it? If you're not, then get out of my face.
In the Native
Mind your business.
In the Native American culture, trans people have been around forever, and they were known as two-spirited.
Two-spirited. That's
they
correct.
Were also known to be the guides of the community, because they had the spiritual capacity to connect with both two spirits, right? And people often came to them, you know, for religious reasons, and came to them for guidance, you know, because they were able to, you know, like, to be able to possess two spirits is like quite an undertaking, quite an I'm trying to get the right word, but it's a major thing, you know. So coming to them for guidance was a thing, a deep thing in the culture. So like I'm answering to, I'm sorry because you didn't hear the question. The question was actually in my head. Right? The question was about folk that think that this is a new phenomenon all of a sudden, because I've heard Captain Chaos refer to it as, now we have this new thing with, you know, and
yeah,
it's not new, dum. It's not new. You know, it's been around forever, you know, and just because this was not a part of what we deem to be popular culture, or just because you didn't know it, did not make it obscure to everyone, you know.
Right. He also doesn't know that the more melanin you have in your body, which is a chemical, it makes you more spiritual. It makes you more human. And that's way above most people's understanding, especially white people. And I think that's their fear. That's the fear, because it doesn't matter what they throw at us. We have been here before. Don't forget. We're concerned. We are angry, but we would stand up and fight your ass. We absolutely will, because we've done this fight before.
Oh yeah.
And those that are two-spirited, yes, they were used as spiritual guides,
Mhm.
and they were used to take care of the elderly.
Mhm.
Because you they have the capacity for understanding. Like for instance, there's certain understanding that I have
Mhm.
currently
Mhm.
that most people would not experience
Mhm.
because of the two dynamics that I've lived in my life. I often say that I've lived many lives.
Mhm. Mhm.
And and so that understanding for most people just bottles the mind that they can't fathom. And it's easier for people who are limited in intelligence, like I think most white supremacists are.
Absolutely.
So to fathom that there are other genders besides male and female, because the first thing they say, well, who's gonna be the man and who's gonna be the woman and who's gonna be, because they could only count one plus one equals two. They can't count higher than that.
And
It's just crazy.
then the idea that the roles that men and women play, right? Far be it
Hmm.
to challenge that at all, Now, I'm not talking specifically about traditionalists that, that subscribe to the male being head of household and the
Hmm.
woman, being um, something other than the head of household. But and again, not taking away from anyone who believes in that, but what do you do? And my question to those, well, what do you do to households that do not have that figure, in place? And does that mean that the woman is not the leader, or does that mean that the person of trans experience is not the leader of the household or incapable of leading? And a lot of the times, I think that and I don't want to go religion, because we'll be here
Hmm.
all day, every day, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
But there are certain doctrines that were written for a certain time, and I think like anything else, there are some fundamentals like layups win the game, right?
Hmm.
That stay with us, and then there's some things that have to evolve as well, with the people. We are no longer in walking cobblestone roads with our barefoot and sandals. We have evolved. And
Right.
I think that certain things need to evolve with us, in order for us to consider them in our choices. Now there are some things written. I'm a clear believer. There's some things written that are playing themselves out right now. I'm not
Hmm.
saying all of it. I'm saying a lot of it. And we just need to really be able to continue to examine those things. But the idea that you are better than me because you are a different complexion is racism, and it
Hmm.
is mental health.
Right, exactly. It's absolutely a mental sickness.
Yes.
Absolutely a mental sickness. And the fact that you don't consider yourself as successful person unless you're dominating
Yep.
oppressing someone else.
Yes.
And I think this is the misunderstanding why that they have with us also, is that how can you be successful? Who are you oppressing?
Mm.
We are here to oppress you. So you can't have a successful life. You have had to take an advantage of someone
Hmm.
in order to get where you are. So it's impossible for them to see that.
Well, it's interesting when folks try to say somebody of color is racist. No, somebody of color cannot be racist.
No.
They don't have the capacity to oppress people. They don't.
Right.
They can be prejudiced as a motherfucker, which is most of
Right.
the times is what they are,
Right.
prejudiced. But racist, no, that's a different level, because that means that you have the capacity to oppress. people.
Right, right,
Population.
and also I don't like when people say that it's reverse racism. In order for something to be reversed, you would have to have the same. They would have to go through the same thing that we do. All the elements have to match up. You would have had to be enslaved as well. You have had to have gone through Jim Crow. And after you survive that, which I think most of them would never, then if we come back and try to turn something around, then that's reverse.
Mhm.
All the elements have to be the same. We could never have reverse racism.
Right. Right.
Right. Yeah, because you did not live the same experience.
Right.
You don't have the same history.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Right. I agree. You didn't live through the Holocaust. You didn't live through
Right.
slavery.
Right.
All of,
Right.
you know,
Right. Exactly. Hmm.
like what are you saying to me? You know, oh, you
Right.
didn't get that job. Oh, okay. Somebody. Oh, okay. You didn't get that
Right.
job that you felt you were entitled to. Oh, okay. That's what you. That's okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's basically
Sorry. Go
what
ahead.
they're upset about. You know, like no, that's not it. I'm sorry, my bad. There's nothing. There's no reason for it.
Hmm. And the
Right.
idea that you sculpt out that you don't want the true history of America to be told in its entirety. You know, you want to have an abridged version of everything, right? You don't want the true history of America being taught in schools anymore. So you are now censoring our books and things. And by the way, we've said this often on this show. Please make sure you get as many books as you can that speak to the history that they want to
Hmm.
wash away, and I'll say
Hmm.
whitewash away,
Right.
because at the end of the day, I think it was you, JaVonne, who said like 90 years from now, Martin Luther King will be white.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just have to make sure that our images, our NIL, which is name, image, and likenesses, they are accurate,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that we are reading things and keeping things front of mind with our children and our community that need to be done, because it's a serious situation, folks. And if you let folks that and we knew this was coming, like we knew this was coming. There have been books written about
Hmm.
this for a minute now, from authors, from seeing things, and this is their push, and they won't be successful because I'll tell you the end of the story. I'm going to ruin it for you. It ain't going to work. It's not going to
Right.
work. It's not going to
Right.
work. Now will we go through bumps and bruises? Absolutely.
Meryl Streep will be playing Harriet Tubman in the movie.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But if you look at like the Native Americans, think about New York City, for instance. You could find any nationality's restaurant in New York City. You could find Greek, you could find Ethiopian, you could anything but a Native American restaurant.
You have to go tribal.
Think,
Reservation.
let that sink in for a minute. A major city like that.
Mhm.
You would have to go to New Mexico. You would have to go somewhere out west to find that.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
They have worked on the Native Americans so much that they've almost disappeared. They're segregated to a particular states, particular areas. That's what they want to do to us. That's what they want to do to LGBTQ, to Black people, to immigrants, to everyone.
Mhm.
They want us to just disappear.
And then what will happen? Let's just say there was
Hmm.
a movie made, right? Where
Right,
there were no people of color anywhere,
right.
and they got their wish.
But see, here's the
They
thing
wouldn't
about
stand a
that.
snowball's chance in hell. They wouldn't last a week.
But Terez,
No.
here's the thing about that. If there was such a thing that we no longer existed, right?
Hmm.
Then let it be to the point that we never existed. Okay? Like don't just send us away now and now so you're left with what's there.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
imagine that we were never there.
Take away our existence as physically and all that we've contributed.
There you go.
Right.
Boom.
Right.
That we would have never made it to the moon. that they would still be
Absolutely.
riding horses in the middle of the intersection and crashing into each other.
Right.
That's the whole script, you know, JaVonne.
But that the light bulb, it would work, but only for 15 minutes at a time. And each light bulb only 15 minutes, because the filament is the thing that makes the light bulb long lasting.
Mm.
And the filament was gifted by a black man. So
Right.
let's just imagine the world without us ever. Don't stop now.
Mm.
Don't stop now. No.
Give me back all my marbles.
Yeah, we've contributed far too much.
Mm-hmm.
And would there even be music?
No, absolutely not.
There'd be no clothing. We'd be some naked ass people because all this
Right,
cotton.
right, exactly. And you know that the only original American music, jazz, right, was created by us, because from jazz came R&B and so forth. And you guys are all music heads, so I'm not telling you
Yeah, but you
anything
know,
new.
the blues is where
The blues,
country
yeah.
music came from. I mean, well, there would be no music.
No music.
The
Absolutely no music.
drum comes from Africa.
Right. Country music, the guitar comes from Africa.
Banjo.
The banjo.
Banjo. There'd be nothing. No hee-haw.
I think, you know something? You just really inspired something. You really inspired something, Jay. See if I can pull it off.
There would be no alarm systems for your house.
Man, what house? Who's building them?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So actually, someone told me that there was a children's book out there somewhere that says a little boy wakes up and he goes to turn on the light, and the light doesn't come on. And it continues. He tries to comb his ear, and there's no comb. So if you take, like you said, if you take away all the things that were invented by us, the brilliance of us, the gods and goddesses of us.
But here's the thing, Chris. While they have their fucking boots on our necks.
Yeah.
If just think about one simple thing, that movie, Hidden Figures, right?
Right.
The brilliant minds of those three women, while they are in the middle of oppression, while they are being oppressed, while they can't go to school, while they can't, get a higher education at the highest level,
right?
While they're being disrespected and can't even get a fucking cup of coffee out the coffee thing right there.
Right.
While they got to walk a mile just to piss, right? Imagine if they were supported from childhood to be the best that they could be. Imagine that thing that we're told when we're children, that you could be anything you want to be.
Right.
And then the universe, the whole community, and the whole country supports your ability to be whoever and whatever it is that you want to be. No, we're going to support this child. She's brilliant. Give a fuck what she looks like. No, give her all the food, or let her family not struggle for anything, because there's enough resources for everybody.
Right.
And let the teachers encourage and say, look at how beautiful and smart your brain is, as opposed to, you're not go sit in the back of the class.
Right.
But they've been jealous.
Right.
So my thing is, there are people who unfortunately have OD'd and died.
Yeah.
Because they were geniuses without a supportive outlet.
Right.
Because they were too smart to suffer this world. I'm not advocating for suicide, nor am I advocating for drugs.
No, right.
However, if you understand the minds of people who are oppressed, but they're too smart to just suffer and bear it, to grin and bear it. They have too much to give, so much that it's imploding because there's no outlet for it. I wish
Right.
both of my arms worked right now so I could give you both.
No. I am totally and
But
see.
do you get it?
Yeah. I totally get it. And see, this is part of the fear I think that they have because despite what they throw at us, we prevail. We rise above it again and again. And so this is why I'm saying that even though we're here now, and we would think that we were here in the 60s, the 70s. We didn't get written rights until 1965, the civil rights movement. As a matter of fact, a black man could not get life insurance until after 1965 because they didn't think that our lives were worth in insuring. That wasn't very long ago.
Not only that,
That has been in my lifetime.
Chris, they wanted to kill you and then not pay.
Right. Oh, exactly. Exactly.
That's life insurance. I can hang you and nobody's going and I don't have to pay nothing.
That's right. That's right.
Do you know that lynching was created in America?
Absolutely. Yes.
This is their contribution.
But the idea that they had women, men, and children watching lynching like it was an event.
Yes.
And I've watched and I've looked at because in studying some history, because I was an awful, when I mean awful, I would excel in all of my other subjects, but European culture and all that history that they were teaching, I had to really dig in because it would not stick. And I think I had an allergic reaction to getting this information because it just felt void of something. You know what I mean?
Yes,
It just did not,
yes.
I could not do it. God bless Schoolhouse Rock because it got me through a lot of the things as if, in the country that were necessary for me to pass it. But I remember struggling in those areas because I could not commit to my soul. My soul couldn't commit to what I was being taught, only to find out that it was a bunch of bullshit. Now I understand it as an adult, right? But it's interesting that when you look at those pictures of lynching, how you see sometimes kids and they're smiling as if, and what kind of sick, depraved shit is that? And that's okay? That's okay?
I'm telling you, there's even sicker stuff. There's a book. It's called the Delectable Negro. Did you know that after they killed Nat Turner, they cut him up in pieces and they digested him?
Yeah.
That's some sick shit.
Yeah.
That is.
Yes, I did know that.
And not only him, other men of color. Yeah. They need to just go to therapy.
And
leave us the hell alone and go to therapy.
Yeah, men and women, they ate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cannibals.
Right. Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Yeah, because Nat Turner, they could not believe that he had the power to revolt, to do all the things that he did, and they thought that they were gonna get his power by eating him.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I have nothing for that one. But
Right. Okay.
I know it's true.
Yeah.
I just don't have anything for that.
Yeah. But
yeah.
But
the same principle holds true for the trans community in terms of supporting as opposed to oppressing.
Yeah.
Like the amazingness of what the potential of that freedom. What can people accomplish when they are completely free to be themselves and to be supported in that? And I mean, from childhood, so many people who may have been trans who ended up committing suicide, like these young children today. And you're not wrong about that.
Right.
I mean, if they are instead support it? What are the possibilities?
Yeah, because that body dysphoria is real.
Mm.
That body dysphoria is real.
Mhm.
And so much can come out of someone just living authentically as themselves. I'm speaking of me. Living authentically as me is a happiness that I never thought, never imagined that I would ever have.
Mm.
So let us just have that. You know, we're not harming anyone. Let us have that. And going back to if it wasn't for trans people and drag queens, Stonewall would have never happened. We threw the first brick in that window.
Right.
We're always at the forefront.
Right.
Just like during the AIDS pandemic, if it wasn't for lesbians taking care of gay men, the doctors wouldn't start looking at it as, yeah, because they wanted nothing to do with those sick people. You know, so we also have to come together as a community. Yeah, because sometimes I see that division with gay people and lesbian and trans, because trans and drag queens are in your face. We're in your face. A gay man can live his whole life and you would never know that he's gay, or she's gay. A gay woman. You know, so because we're up front, we're in the front of the line fighting. So we're gonna get fired at. We're gonna get shot at.
Not to mention, you know, I've said this before too. You would want society, let's just say, society would benefit from everybody living their truth.
Exactly.
Right.
Everybody. And doing so in a way that's healthy, that's normalized. And the reason why I say that is because anybody that is not living their truth is subjected to harming not only themselves but others,
But
right?
others as well. That's
And
right.
a very, very, and you triggered something, Criss, when and I think about this all the time, how many of our brothers are living on the down low, and we want to scrutinize. We can't have it both ways, right? We want to
No.
scrutinize them for having wives that either know or don't know. We're not going there with the politics, right? But but because they didn't feel comfortable or they did not feel safe, that's a better word, living their lives in a whole holistic way where it was normalized and they could be happy and free. And then you run into these scandals that, you know, drag not only women, they drag children, they drag
Right.
families when someone's
Right.
not living in their authentic truth. Now you can apply that to men, you can apply that to women, you can apply that to trans, you can apply that anywhere where someone is not living their truth. You could be in a marriage where you know that you don't need to be in, but you're not
Right.
living your truth. And it's not comfortable or safe for you to move the way you need to move, you know, because I promise you there's nothing that has ever been created that humans haven't experienced at this point. You know,
Yeah.
there's not a story that's being told that somebody else cannot share, you know, somewhere else or apply somewhere else. So we benefit as a culture, as a society, to have
Right.
people living their truth. So that way we get the experience of knowing trans people. When I mean knowing, I mean having someone that you can converse with, that you can
Right.
have the dialogue with, not someone you read about or heard about, or they've created some story, some insane story about a bathroom situation and you apply it there. And then, you know, it's always the alarmist situations and the very, very small situations, you know, that get the most coverage. And then you want to blanket that over an entire population. That's just not true. It's not true for Black folks. It's not true for trans folks either. Cut it out with the stereotypes.
Right.
Get to know you somebody, you know, get to have you an experience with someone of the trans experience before you take before you stick your stake in the ground with what you believe about them, you know.
Right. Right,
That's all.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, and we have to be able to differentiate between rhetoric and the truth,
Correct.
because things that are thrown out there, trans people are not causing the price of eggs to go up. Trans people are not the cause of all the planes that are falling from the sky right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
We're
people
just
getting
not.
fired from their jobs.
Right, right. Federal workers being fired. Basically, human rights should not be ranked. It should not be ranked where these person. If you're this person, you get more rights than another person. It should not be ranked. We should all have the same human rights.
Right.
Yeah, and just stop coming after trans people. But at the same time, there are things that we can do before we switch off.
Yes.
People, we have power. Ordinary people have power. There's a number that gets you to the switchboard in DC. Connects you to a switchboard operator that will connect you to your congressperson. People can call. The number is 202-224-3121. Anyone can call that number. You could just tell them what state you're from, give them the address, and they would tell you who your congressperson is. They need to call. People need to call. Ordinary people have power.
Yeah.
Empower yourself to call and tell your congressperson how you feel. Tell them you're you're dissatisfied with this stranger, Elon Musk, who was never vetted. He never had a background check. All his workers never had a background check, but he has access to all our information. Tell them that your child is trans, and they're afraid. They're afraid to go to school. I'm crying every day, or they wanted to go through there to transition, and now that they're afraid. We ordinary people have that power, and we need to exercise that.
Absolutely. So the number again is 202-224-3121. That's
Correct.
202-224-3121. Call
Correct. Yeah.
and reach out to your Congress people.
That's right.
And yes, I did, Kimberly, see the people in Roswell grilling the congressmen, and what they were talking about is something that Gigi spoke to us about last week, which was how if a woman, they they want to change the voting rights so that your last name has to match your birth certificate. So women who took their husband's last names won't be able to vote because their names changed on
Mhm.
what's on their birth certificate legally.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
those women were grilling their Republican congressman who signed off on this. And he was
Mhm.
like, well, we have to have secure vote. We have fucking secure. We had
Right.
Mhm.
until they let this whatever
Muskrat
Right.
Susie.
whatever allegedly
Right.
something happened with the voting machines. They were allegedly tampered with.
Mm.
So the answer to that is brilliantly take away the woman's right to vote.
Right.
Correct. Correct. They're going to take away everyone's rights.
Roswell is white, conservative, like really white and really conservative. It was good to see. Well, yeah, because it's coming for them. You know, I just don't understand. And let me just say this to all Americans. May you be blessed with the empathy and grace you give to someone who looks nothing like you,
Mm.
whose experience is different from yours. May you be blessed with the same grace, mercy, and empathy that you give others. May that be your blessing.
Mhm. Yeah.
And with that, it's time to bounce. It's after two,
Yeah.
after one.
But
Criss, thank you so much.
JaVonne and Terez, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm thank you. I'm available anytime you want me to come back. Thank you for this platform. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you
Thank
so
Thank you
much
so
for your
much.
presence. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for your presence and your voice, and keep speaking. You
That's
know,
right.
keep speaking life.
Keep
Yeah,
making it do what it do, baby.
that's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
All right.
Happy-
Everybody, the first book we're gonna listen to, audio book. I don't know how you're gonna
Okay.
get it. It's up to you.
Okay.
Is Jennifer Lewis's Mother of Black Hollywood? Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
There you go. Jennifer Lewis. Yeah, let me put it in the comments so that y'all will know the assignment. Jennifer Lewis, mother. Let me put it in quotations for the smart folks.
And no, these are not things of movement. These are things that give you some kind of self-care moments outside of the movement, to be able to get through and to be able to do things like laugh and reflect on different things. Sometimes just
Yes.
silly, something different than what's going on. Some
Yeah,
of us are oversaturated.
you have
Yeah.
to look away and look at something else. And if you're going to look at something else, why not look and listen to Jennifer Lewis? Just calm yourself down and listen to the Mother of Black Hollywood. Okay? And we will discuss it. I'll do a reminder next week. Terez, let's remind everybody.
Okay.
And then we'll have a full out discussion the following week. There are a lot of good books. Also, somebody mentioned Whoopi Goldberg's book. Also, I had so much more in common with her than I had realized. Another great one.
And it's funny because it kind of links in loosely because it's how someone, that we know in public life that also had an amazing journey, still living and journeying. Is that a word?
Journeying.
Journaling. But how she managed bipolar disorder.
Yes.
So it showed up in how she managed to, get a lasso on it so that, she was able to be as productive as she needed to be for herself.
Yes.
And that's also the journey too.
Look, thank you everybody for another great episode. God bless you all. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
And let somebody know you care.
Peace, party people.
Bye. Thanks
Happy
again.
Saturday.
Hi, everybody. You're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. This is Melba Moore.
Still in the basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Terez on the microphone. Music, politics, or just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artist or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Let's see who we got today. Come on, everybody's a friend in my head. I already know everybody. Whatever it is, it's gonna be good. One day I'll tell you about me and Shaka Khan, but you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But she doesn't know anything about it. But anyway. No, she doesn't. She wasn't even there actually. But anyway.
Bosses though, Jay. Like she got our ears and
I'm gonna send y'all some. I'll definitely get an address. I'll send y'all out.
You can send me some cologne, because I mean,
cologne,
you know,
you like cologne?
yeah. Just in
that.
case I should meet Shaka Khan, I want to smell really, nice.
Oh God.
Okie dokie, babe. Whatever you say.
the time. So,
and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes,
well, thank you. This part, that little piece, I'm just going to keep and play it all the time for myself. But no, I'm just teasing.